September is National Fall Prevention Month, and falling is the leading cause of fractures in older adults, especially because they have osteoporosis. And if you or a loved one is getting up there in age, I'm guessing a lot of you are well aware that the older you get, the more and more dangerous those falls can become. So joining me here in Studio 61 to talk more about what we can do about it, I'm happy to have Dr. Katherine McLeod, a professor at Quinnipiac. Good to meet you, Doctor.
Good to see you.
A pleasure to have you. Yeah, glad to have you here. And why don't we start with that, with sort of the dangers of falling, and sometimes it can set off a whole chain of events that certainly can go wrong.
Absolutely. Falls are a major public health concern and can be life-changing for older adults especially. Some of the major consequences of falls, or two major outcomes, are head injuries and broken bones. And broken bones often go hand in hand with osteoporosis with older adults. And so osteoporosis is when the bones start to weaken, they become more brittle and more susceptible to breaking. And so we know that falls are the leading cause of fracture in older adults, particularly at the hip, the spine, and the wrist. And so these can have major consequences for people, not just pain, but also increased risk of hospitalization, surgery.
The immobility, just in general, right? There's that saying, move it or lose it. And especially when you're older, that can be that first domino that falls in an otherwise healthy person that could lead to, unfortunately, them dying. I mean, I hate to be too morose, but...
And a loss of independence is a really big factor as well. So a lot of consequences.
Okay, so let's talk more about osteoporosis. What adults should be doing just to sort of measure their risk levels to see where they're at.
Right, so it's really important to talk to your healthcare provider about osteoporosis, to have a DEXA scan to screen for your bone density. Things like calcium and vitamin D intake are really important for bone health, and regular weight-bearing physical activity is important as well. For older adults, that can be as simple as walking is a great lower body strengthening exercise.
And let's talk about vitamin D. Of course, that's something your body can metabolize with some sun, but is just getting outside enough, or is it something you should be actively incorporating into your diet?
Yeah, that's also recommended to take a supplement, especially during the winter months. We live in a northern hemisphere, and so our exposure to sunlight declines in the summer months. So it's helpful to take a supplement in the winter months.
Okay. Now let's talk about preventing falls. I mean, that's the other sort of half of this equation.
Yeah, so there's really 4 key things that you can do to prevent falls. One is to talk to your healthcare provider about these, your risk of falls and falls prevention. If you have fallen in the past month, if you have a fear of falling, or if you feel unsteady when you're walking, talk to your healthcare provider about these things. And also talking to your healthcare provider or your pharmacist about your medications. Some medications can have side effects that can cause drowsiness or sleepiness that can increase your risk of falling. Another thing is increasing your exercise or strength building exercises and balance exercises. So again, things like walking helps to improve lower body strength and balance as well. Low impact exercises that you can do in the community or at home are really helpful. And studies have shown that Tai Chi is a really great exercise for older adults for reducing the risk of falling. And so those are some things that you could do. The big thing is making your home safer. So we know that the majority of falls that do occur for older adults happen in the home, and particularly in the bathroom is where the majority of injuries from falls occur. So installing grab bars, making sure that you have non-slip mats in the bathroom, good lighting in the bathroom is really important as well.
That makes a lot of sense. I do have one more question. It might be out of your purview, so it's okay if you don't feel comfortable answering it, but you mentioned these are things to do if you're worried about falling. Sometimes I'm worried about the opposite, convincing an older relative to use a walking device, a cane or a walker, when they, because of prideful reasons might not quite be ready to take that step. How do you sort of approach that conversation with the loved one?
That's a really good question. It's all about educating them on the risks of falls and what can happen if they're not taking these preventative steps.
Yeah.
So that's where I would start. It's better to do these things to prevent than to experience the fall and have the consequences of a fall at the end of the day. The Bone Health and Osteoporosis Foundation has a wonderful source of resources and information for falls prevention and preventing broken bones as well.
Okay, so there you have it. Hopefully you and all your older loved ones will have a nice, safe, healthy time. But yeah, that is the one thing that is probably going to, as they get older, get bigger and bigger, that's looming over them, to make sure you don't have it happen to you or somebody you love. Dr. McLeod, thank you for being with us today.